setup because you
And
lured me in with a lot of B
yeah,
facts and
I
a lot of
did.
hive facts, and
hmm
you preyed on my nature of knowledge.
hmm
And I think you unwittingly preyed on the fact that I actually know a little bit about bees lately. Like,
Yeah.
so I was getting ready to engage you in a conversation. You also came in with the joke way earlier than normal
Uh-huh.
this week.
Normally I wait. Normally I
Normally,
wait, but I was like trying to figure out a way to set it up.
mhm,
Because I was told that joke at a brunch, and it was given to me very deadpan, and I was like,
mhm.
"Oh," and my response was, "Oh, did you hear that there's spiders that do that?" And she's
And you
like,
totally missed the fact that it was boobies.
"Yep," but it was
Boobies,
boobies, boobies, and
because
for
the bees that make
Halloween you
honey.
can. Yeah, they are. Have you heard
So
about the ghost bees?
for Halloween, should we just make a bunch of tiny little tissue ghosts, but, like, have them stingers so that they're all and just hang them so that they're boobies?
We should.
I was also told that joke, like, no joke, like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't expect to get hit with it again, and so good job. That one,
You're welcome.
you
It
really
just
you nailed me
it
with
comes
that one.
around. It comes around.
It does. I mean, you really I was gearing up with, like, my counter B facts, and, like, we were gonna have a whole
Mhm.
B conversation, and no, it was just a long walk
And we were
off a
just
short
short
joke
pier.
pier. Yeah.
Well, and we were just talking about, like, the Irish, so
Mhm.
you probably thought I was gonna try to find an Irish joke or
We were
something.
just warming up. I thought we were just warming up, but we
Yep,
weren't.
nope,
You were just luring me
nope.
in to a B joke. Hey, everybody.
Mhm.
Welcome back to, The Elder Elves, where this week we're playing Tether still, but not for long because 'cause we're nearing the end of it. Tether is not a joke about boobies. Tether is a two-person TTRPG that is story-based, where we write entries each week, in a journal that has, connected 2 people, 2 characters across 30 years. Miranda's character is in the 1990s, and my character started out in, 2023, and then oh, yep, slap bracelet. Miranda has
I
a
was
slap
trying to get
bracelet
that
just
in
for
there,
being
and
here
I
into the
I
room.
missed. Yeah, yeah.
My character started out in the now and has moved back to the way, way back. And now everything is a little complicated because things got
Jordan
weird.
is in her villain era.
Yeah.
She went so far back she became the villain.
And last week we had a alternate timeline situation show up in the journal. Well, it depends
Mhm.
on if Charlie has chosen to believe the journal or not. The entry from last week was Jordan saying that what Charlie was doing would change the future for the poopier because it was going to get real bad and all Terminator Judgment Day like. So that's kind of where you're
That's where
at.
we were.
I told you
Um,
that, if you broke those mirrors, wah,
I
wah.
know. I wrote a bit about what happens, but what was great is that every time we've gone to write together, the prompts that we end up pulling have been
Yes.
like we have set each other up really well. Um, it just happens that way. Uh, so last week we were like, oh well, is Jordan telling the truth or not? Like, what is that about? And I pulled a bad decision you've made catches up to you and there are serious consequences prompt. What was the decision and how have the consequences affected you?
Perfect.
So I hope today that happens. And then we will pull your card.
You know what I thought, by the way?
Hmm.
Well, first of all, 2 things. We are very erratic about trigger warnings
We
because
are.
we keep forgetting to
I
tell
was
people.
going to say that this episode is definitely a trigger warning. We should
Yeah,
probably just say in
we
general
should say
every
in
time we
general.
write, we're writing together.
But we're not, but we are.
Well, yes, I mean, when we are doing this project together, it's probably going to be a trigger warning. We should probably say that. And it's
Yeah.
not so much trigger warning as in like anything like uh sexual nature or any of that stuff.
Oh, no.
It's body horror and
Yeah. You should
death
think
and that kind of stuff.
you should think R-rated movie,
Yeah,
probably. Like that.
watching Alien,
Yeah. Or It,
or It. Yes,
think It's a
Stephen
good
King,
example.
like watching Stephen
Yes.
King stuff, minus all the like.
Mhm. We would be on a streaming service if this was a show. We would not be on network
This would.
television
Oh
and
my
maybe
God, this
late
would be a
night
great
cable.
pitch, though.
It'd be a great
Could you
pitch.
imagine if this was a show?
Well, that was one thing I thought, but the other thing I always thought is, because some people are listening to this because they wanna play Tether, and the way it works is you set up a deck of cards, and you draw the deck, you draw a card each week, and that's your prompt for the next week, just like we did, but I was thinking, "Oh, man, if you set it up ahead of time, you could actually write the prompt on the cards and
Mm.
just slip them into the deck." Like, if you were playing this maybe in person with a bunch of people.
Oh, yeah, and when you pull it, you actually pull the prompt.
You
Oh,
physically
yeah,
pull the prompt.
that's cool.
I was like, "Ooh, that might be a fun way of doing this."
Mhm.
Not that it's hard to look in the
Yeah.
book, but just might add, like, a little bit more excitement.
Yeah, I like that. I like that
Yeah.
idea.
Anyway, this week's your
Okay.
week. You can
Okay.
start whenever you want. We
Well,
chit-chatted a little bit about bees.
we did. We did. And I would like to note that every time I write, if I do it in pen, I end up crossing out stuff. And then I'm like, shit. And then I go back. So that's what happened this week. And I started in pencil. And I don't know why I keep doing that because I can't read half of this. So here we go. We're going to make an attempt this
Do
week
it.
on Tether. August 10th, 1993. I think it's important to tell you what the date is. Someone's like going through and looking up, well, I wonder what day that was. I've already done that for you. I do look at those dates.
So pay attention.
It doesn't matter, but okay. Dear Jordan, I don't know why I'm still writing to you. You are a very bad person and you only were half right. I don't know why I listened to you. I went to see Mrs. Williams in the library. I begged my Nana and Papa to just see, I told you I can't read anything. My Nana and Papa to let me just get another book and to please let me go. So they drove me there. I only had 1 hour and my Nana was there to keep an eye on me. I asked Mrs. Williams if she had any books about time travel or something like that. She led me to the kids' books. Nana went to find a romance book. And she got me A Wrinkle in Time. I asked her if there was something scarier than this book, and she smiled and said, I was too young. She smiled, but it wasn't quite right. The more I see it, the more I know. I took a chance in case you weren't lying to me and asked her if there were any books on magic. You're interested in Houdini? She asked me. No, I said, more like witches and wizards and spells. Why do you want to know about those things? She squinted at me. My mom made the same face when I was caught telling a story. There's a dog. Who let the dog in here?
There's a dog in the library. Oh my God. Catch that dog.
All right. As I shut my office door, hoping desperately that it's not that loud. She squinted at me. My mom made the same face when I was caught telling a story. I broke 2 mirrors. I saw something escape it. I was told I released. But before I could finish, she held up her hand and hissed, "Not here." She looked around and then waved at me to follow her. I looked for my Nana, but she had her back to me and was sitting at a desk. We went to the back room of the library and she said, "You broke the mirrors? Why?" I told her everything. Well, everything that I know. She took a long time to say anything, but then she took a deep breath. The mirrors are gateways. Each hold a piece of his essence. By breaking them, yes, you release him, but only back to the origin of him. He has placed himself into everyone, and that has made him stronger here in this world. But your plan to destroy all the mirrors could work. The original mirror has to be found, and all mirrors have to be broken first before we break that original one. He will be at his strongest there, though, because he has stretched him. He will be at his strongest there, though because he has stretched himself amongst us, he will be weaker for it and trapped when his doorway closes. I said in the future the mirror was at the Murphy house. I told her that it wasn't there now. You saw the liquid drain into the floor at the Cutter house? Yes. And it disappeared at the church? Yes. Then the mirror has got to be in the basement of the Cutter house. Charlie. She sounded very concerned. The more we push, the more the terror does. Do you understand? No. She took my hand. The terror cares if its things are broken. What you break of his, it will break of yours. You will need to break the mirrors fast, and then meet me at the Cutter house. I'll get caught. There are 4 mirrors. How can I do all of that and meet you too? Tomorrow night is a town hall meeting. Everyone goes except children of a certain age. I am sure we will be discussing a great number of things, but it will be the best time, otherwise Sunday. The longer we wait, the more he does. I left with a plan. I left happy knowing I was going to end this. On my way home, Nana took a detour. She looked at me like we were strangers or there was just no love there. Do everything you can, Charlotte. The more you struggle, the more pain you feel, the easier it is for me to make you home. She smiled. No, she didn't. She sped up the car and swerved as we crossed Cutter's Bridge. The water was cold. My window had been down and I was able to swim back up, even though she grabbed my ankle and tried to hold me there. Every car I flagged down ignored me. I sat on the side of the river until my papa came with the sheriff and an ambulance. He asked me if I was hurt. He even hugged me. He said to the sheriff, who was smoking, "We made a deal. What changed? What changed?" The way he said that sounded so broken. "You know what's changed," he responded, smashing his cigarette into the ground. "I don't want to do this anymore. Charlie."
Ooh.
Ooh.
little trip to the library goes awry.
Mm.
All because Nana got her hands on one of them dirty books.
That romance book really did it for her. She's like, mm-hmm.
Okay, so first of all, I like that you started off with like, you suck. We're not friends anymore.
I hate you. Why do I keep listening to you, you jerk?
That was good. I liked that. Okay, so get a little bit of intel from the librarian.
Correct.
And a plan, basically. And then up until this point, Nana has been kind of like your advocate.
Yeah. Now Nana has broken the plan of whatever her and Papa set, and
Nana flipped.
And the car too, I guess, but
well, yeah, yeah. In your mind, writing this, has Nana always been that, or has Nana changed?
Writing it, I always thought they all are done. Like everyone has taken him in, and anyone that's the important ones, right?
Yeah.
They've done life for a life. And she gave her life up. So her life is forfeit to whatever it wants or the terror sees fit. And in this case, knowing that Mrs. Williams also has it too.
Yep.
It's aware of everything that she's doing, even if it's a small amount, you know? So it being like, guess what? Do what you want to do, but you're not going to succeed. Like, I'm way more powerful than you will ever. I have more fingers and more pies than you will ever consciously understand.
Okay.
And
even though we're still not friends, you're still writing me, because you have to.
Because once I start something, I can't stop. Can't stop myself from.
Legitimately, I can see it as like a kid. I mean, I can see it as anybody, really, but it is.
I hate your
like
face. Okay, but this is what happened.
Because
your luck is not a grand.
You're dealing with something that's unusual and for all rights, like magical in the eyes of a kid, especially. So yeah, you're not gonna be able to just walk away from that super easy.
Not at all.
And maybe Charlie has an addictive personality to begin with. Maybe Charlie was gonna end up gambling the night away and chain smoking in a casino.
Smoking at the gas station.
Yeah, smoking.
Ripping a bong in the bathroom.
Okay, interesting. I don't really know what I'm gonna do. I mean, we have to draw the prompt, but
I guess it's gonna be based on that prompt. I gave you. I was trying to give me enough to write, but also give you enough to see if you're how adversarial you end up wanting to go, because you could. I mean, maybe. Maybe you're the reason why we have all the mirrors.
Yep.
Because that's what you thought, and me telling you no, that's not. All you did was put him into little pieces, and everyone has him in and has always had him in. Now you're like back to square one. Like, how do I get rid of this thing?
Okay, I have the second to last card.
Okay. 3
of spades.
Ooh.
Spades. Which
All
is funny
right.
because last prompt was the 4 of spades.
It was. This one, okay. One of the locations in town is destroyed.
Oh.
How? Do
One
you
of the
know who or
locations.
what is behind it?
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes so far as to ask, do you know who or why?
Or what is behind it?
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay,
Mm.
well that does help. That pretty much.
I mean that does help, considering
Yeah.
you know I'm going to the Cutter House. So what happens if you
Yep.
erase the Cutter House in the past?
Right.
You know? If that's the way you want to go. Or
The Cutter House is basically built on top of, and I can't remember if I wrote this in there. I don't think I did. I think I just talked about it. But built on top of the stone basin, or what was the stone basin that the water was from, which was the portal that the creature was in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
I mean, you can
what
destroy
happens-
whatever you want. Yeah, you can destroy literally everything in town if you want. Yeah, but it's one and that's the last card before the end card.
Uh-huh.
Ooh. Then we'll have to see what the
Ding-ding-dong.
prompts are for the ace.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think,
Okay.
I think I've got a good idea of what I'm gonna do.
All right.
I'll have to sit down and start writing it though. That's really because this is the penultimate one.
Mm-hmm. To be fair though, I wrote part of this like a couple days ago, and then I was like, I didn't like how it felt, and so I walked a lot. Well, I work, so I walk on my job. So I did a lot of walking, and I had worked out like a huge chunk of it, how I wanted it to go, and then I got home and I forgot the majority of what I wanted to write. And so
You didn't have the little notepad in your pocket?
No, I didn't. And I was like, damn it. And by the time I got to my truck, I couldn't remember. And I'm like, you know what? I'll figure it out. So I went and I walked yesterday or whatever, and nothing. Well, it came back kind of in pieces. And I'm like, okay, when I get home, I'm going to start it. And then I played Starfield instead. And so I finished it this morning and was like, okay, I remember everything.
Learn to use a voice memo, Miranda.
Oh my God. I know. It was pretty good. And now I'm like, oh man, it was better
Well, that was
than.
still good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That was great. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So on to next week.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us every Tuesday, more or less, at 6 p.m. on Twitch. And it kind of looked like you were playing with boobies.
I'm like, but you know, it's hard because down here, like on one section, I could see my like almost whole body, and then you guys can't. So I'm like making like hand gestures, and you can't see that. And for the podcast guys, you can't see me making hand gestures at all. So don't.
She was
worry
weighing
about it.
scales, and the way you were weighing scales.
I was.
Also,
I was weighing scales
looked like
gently.
you were doing a mammogram. But,
I was. Mammograms are important.
Mammograms are important. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, yeah, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube, podcast and video on demand, available the next day. Actually, I think on our Twitch, it's just available right away, but it's uploaded to YouTube and everything like that right away the next day. And we rebroadcast a couple of times in case you missed it. And that's that. You can find us across some social medias at The Elder Elves. I think it's
Yes.
Is it a the? Yeah, it's a the.
There's a the in there. If not, just take the the out, and you might find us as just Elder Elves. Whatever.
Yeah. Play
around with it.
Yep.
Google it. I don't know.
Google it. Come on.
Googs.
You can find me at colincarlton.com, which also has a landing page for the podcast on there. So you can also just go there and find what you're looking for. You can find me on social media at Colin Carlton VO. That's my spiel. What's your spiel?
You can find me as Obscurabrasion on everything. And someday I will be a grown-up and have my own website and have things on it that I will probably forget to update, and just like my TikTok and our Elder Elves TikTok. But I'm on Insta, TikTok. Come say hi. At some point when I get done doing my book stuff, that'll be out there. And Colin did not say this, but he's also a writer, and his book is out there. You can find it on Amazon.
It's true.
You know, if you like how we write, check out his stuff. My stuff is not published yet, but don't worry, it's coming.
Oh, like and subscribe and
Please
share and leave comments and reviews where applicable, because that's how people find you in the world of algorithms.
That's right.
Otherwise, you just don't pop up anywhere. But a lot of people have been talking about us word of mouth, and I know that they've been telling their friends about it. So that's very kind, and thank you very much, because we enjoy doing this. I think it's a great writing exercise. I think it's a great improv exercise. I think acting classes could do it, and writing classes could do it. You can kind of structure it however you want. Even though we're a little more towards like an R-rated movie, you could do this. However, you could do it with kids. You could do it, it'd be a little bit of a like R.L. Stine kind of thing. But
yeah, riding with kids on this would be fun.
I think so. I think you could
like
do it.
Seeing what they would come up with. I could totally see like some of the kids I know being like, I'm an 80-year-old man, and you're like, yes, do it. Let's see what you come up with. Or like, I'm my age. Okay, that's great. Let's see what you got going on. Okay.
Because like the prompts aren't scary or anything like that. Nothing in the actual structure of the game is scary. So yeah, you can find that. We've been playing Tether. It's made by Adam Baffoni. There is a link in the description of wherever you're watching this or listening to this, and that's where you can buy this game if you really like it. And
why not? Look at it. The book is very cute.
It's very cute.
And in case you can't see on the podcast, it's a white book with little clouds and like a little squiggly monster in one of the corners.
Yeah, like a grayscale, like black and white kind of thing. It's very hip.
It's very cute. Yeah, it's very cool.
Okay, so that's it for us. Come in next week. That'll be the second to last, or maybe if we want to do a wrap up episode,
we'll do a wrap up so we can just talk about it.
I might do a wrap up.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what we want to do.
So, either way, next week, gonna be a doozy, and the week after that, gonna be a double doozy, and that's something you should watch out for. So, subscribe to us, that way you don't miss when everything gets uploaded. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Miranda. That was a really good story.
You're welcome, Colin, for listening. I appreciate it.
Well, everybody, go get yourself some boobies and have a great night.